Hey everyone, my name is Thomas Q. Jones and welcome back to the Castor Couch, presented by Castor. Castor is an exclusive community for creatives as well as a mobile app to help you find talent, book gigs, and collaborate with established and aspiring artists in Hollywood. Now today I'm very excited to interview one of my very good friends and one of the hottest up-and-coming directors in Hollywood. Now he's directed projects such as TBS's The Last OG, ABC's Whiskey Cavalier, and CBS's The Red Line. And he also has a new animation film out called Hair Love that is pretty incredible, and it's getting a lot of great reviews, especially on social media. I'm excited to sit here and talk to my brother, Matthew Cherry.
What's up, bro?
What's up? How you
Thanks for having
doing?
me, man.
Good to see you,
on the
man.
Castor Couch.
Yes, you're on the Castor Couch. You made it.
I love it.
You made it. So me and you have very similar journeys into Hollywood.
Yeah.
Former NFL players that actually made the transition, which is very hard.
Very hard.
Right? So tell the people a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background.
Yeah, man. You know, like you said, former athlete as well. What didn't play as a high level as you did in the league.
you still played in the league.
But I was there. No, you know, wide receiver, played for Carolina, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. And, you know, transitioned, retired in like 2005 or so, and then moved to LA, became a PA. And just kind of worked my way up. So, you know, here we are.
So what made you want to go from football to Hollywood? Was this something that you always wanted to do?
Yeah, you know, I was like always a part of like the radio club and the TV club in high school, and then I majored in radio TV broadcast. So I always knew when I got done playing sports, I wanted to get into entertainment. I just didn't know exactly what. And when I got to LA, I heard about this program called Streetlights, which is this PA training program. And they just kind of help men and women of color just kind of get that foot in the door, and because I didn't know anybody when I moved to LA, and you know, applied, got in, and started working on a lot of different shows. And Girlfriends was one of the first TV shows that I worked on as a set PA in like 2007. So
yeah, so you've been in the game for a while.
Yeah, man. Starting from scratch and working my way up.
So can you tell people how hard it is to transition? Because I know when I started to get into the industry, and I started to book roles, people would be like, well, it's probably easy for you because, you know, you're a football player and, you know, people already know your name. But it's the total opposite. I mean, my experience was that way. I mean, can you tell people a little bit how hard it is to actually transition from that to?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, you know, you're fighting a lot of stereotypes. You know, people, I think, when they look at a former athlete, they assume everybody's a millionaire, or that you just want to get in because you want to throw money at stuff. For whatever reason, they act like you're not a hard worker, which is just crazy to me, because I'm like, as hard as it takes to make it to the league, like you would think you get the benefit of the doubt of being a hard worker, but you know, for whatever reason, there's a stereotype of being lazy and not really being hungry or whatever. And so you're fighting that, but then also, you know, you tend to be taller, bigger, and so sometimes you intimidate people. You know, they don't know how to approach you, or you know, they know if they talk crazy, you know, they'd rather not even deal with you than deal with somebody else. Especially the way I came up being a PA, because you know, you had to get coffee and grabbing director's chairs and stuff. So, you know, and they be talking crazy to PAs. So, you know, there definitely were times where people, I think, wanted to flex, but they're like, oh,
he's got like, dude 6'3", and a football player.
You got a little weight on me, so I don't want to come at him too crazy, and then you don't get the next job because, you know, you could tell there was some weird energy. But, you know, I think like anything else, man, like for me, it was really important to really start at the ground floor, because I didn't want anybody thinking that, you know, I didn't earn it or that something was just given to me. And I think that's something I always appreciated about your journey, is that, you know, despite being kind of a higher profile player, you know, when you were doing your thing, you know, when you transitioned, man, you were all about the work. Like I remember we were at ABFF for 9 rides, and like you flew back early, missed the after party because you had to take a acting class, and you were getting ready to do an audition. So just even that level of commitment, you know, I think is something that really has just helped both of us just really kind of rise in this industry and, you know, kind of get into where we are today.
No, definitely it's the commitment, and then coming from sports does kind of give us a leg up in that regard, because I mean, that's all that is practice and working hard and determination and being on schedule, working as a team.
Setting goals and achieving them. You know, that's always the biggest thing I always tell people. Like, they're like, oh, what's the difference between playing ball and this? I'm like, you know, like anything else, I think we always from growing up, like we knew that if you set a goal, you worked hard to achieve it. And you knew that like if you practice hard, if you were slow in your 40 time, you could practice really hard and improve on your time. And I think just bringing all those lessons over to, entertainment, man, it just gives you such a leg up.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely made it a lot easier for me. It clearly made it a lot easier for you. So congratulations on your new film, the animated film Hair Love.
Thanks, man.
Incredible. I'm excited to see it. I remember when you first started talking about it on social media, and then the buzz it just took off. Everyone wanted to get behind it. A lot of celebrities got behind it. I think Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade and Chris Rock.
Ben Stiller. Yeah, I mean, just a crazy. By far, I mean, and this is coming from people that made it in the NFL. Like literally the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. The most surreal thing, it was like literally just kind of teasing an idea and then doing a Kickstarter campaign that like ends up breaking records, and then getting up with Sony Animation and then Penguin Random House reaching out to do the book. And it's just crazy. It's like the epitome of like when they say, sometimes you gotta dream it first before it's real. And it's all been coming true so far.
Yes.
So it's crazy.
And the book. He's got bestseller, right?
Yeah, New York Times
bestseller book, Hair Love.
First time doing a book. It's
incredible.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Incredible. So what was your inspiration for doing this movie, Hair Love?
Well,
and can you tell people a little bit, just they haven't seen the premise of the book?
Yeah, Hair Love started as a Kickstarter campaign for a short film, and one of the gifts that we offered was for a children's picture book. And we didn't know how we were going to do it. We're like, well, let's just offer it and then we'll figure it out later. And then like a couple of days into the campaign, people reached out to try to offer us a book deal. And so the project kind of came about a couple of years ago when we were, I was seeing all these viral videos of dads doing their daughter's hair. And, I'm really active on social media and like always try to post like family stuff when I get a chance to. And, I'd be posting moms interacting with their kids, and they would never perform as crazy as the clips with dads. And, obviously like the videos were cute and everything, but I started thinking like, well, what's really going on here? And I ended up finding out that it was kind of a double-edged sword where, people weren't used to seeing dads, black dads specifically, interact with their kids like this. And they were kind of treating it like it was an anomaly or something that, was, this is just kind of like an outlier situation. And I'm like, I know so many friends, I got so many friends that are young fathers who will do whatever for their daughter, paint the nails, do the little tea party, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever they got to do to make their kids happy. And so that's really where the idea came from. It was like the idea of, a black father who, the wife or mom is away for whatever reason, and it's game time, and she has a special event coming up, and he got to get the hair together, and he's never done it before, and it's really just, I think, a universal story about the things that we're willing to do for the people that we love when we don't know how to do it initially. You're going to figure it out by any means. So
you're right. I mean, it was an incredible story, and it definitely was big for helping kind of get rid of some of these stereotypes that are out there, because obviously, there's certain negative stereotypes that are pushed on all cultures, and specifically black men.
Right.
That one is just not true.
Right.
And I love the fact that you picked something so specific.
Yeah.
Because there's a bigger story around it, and you see the bigger stories that develop around just this father-daughter relationship, doing the hair, because there's a very specific thing to do with your daughter and to know how, and then you've got all this kind of masculine energy, and so that's not something you think you're supposed to do, but it's your daughter. You're supposed to do that. So I think it's a really, really great concept.
I mean, for us, man, it was kind of a double-edged thing where, on one hand, we wanted to represent for little girls who have, this big natural hair, and, mainstream media is so powerful. And like when you see all these billboards and magazine covers and TV shows and movies, and you don't see yourself or your hair represented, you start to feel less than. And then for black men, like, there were, around the time we did the Kickstarter campaign, there were these studies that came out that said, actually that black men were among the most involved group with their kids. I think that was from like Mike.com or something. And, and for us, we also wanted to make sure that he looked like us, a young dude, with tattoos and, wearing basketball shorts and slides with socks, like make it really relatable, because these are the people that I know, that are like the best dads that'll do literally whatever it takes. So, we just try to make it as authentic as possible.
No, what you did in art definitely imitates life, because, you have a lot of really beautiful, young black queens looking at this and watching it, and black moms, and just some of the responses I've seen, because I follow you on social media, and some of the responses from everyone. But I've seen just a lot of moms are like, you know, up in arms about it and very, very excited. Also, so Viola Davis retweeted it. So you have a lot of support, which is great.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you. He was an executive producer on the Oscar-nominated film Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. And so how did this whole situation with Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions come about?
Social media, man. It's been like, man, like that's been the most crazy part of my career, man, is social media. So a couple years ago, again, right before we started this Kickstarter campaign, you know, Get Out came out. And, you know, like I always do when I see something that comes out that's hot, you know, I put some funny tweet and put a GIF with it and tag Jordan in it, and he ended up following me. And I was like, oh shit. You know, sometimes when people like that follow you, you like tighten up, like, oh man, I want to say something crazy and they don't follow me or whatever. I gotta tighten it up a little bit. And, you know, he never really interacted with me, and it got to the point where I actually forgot he was following me. And then like 3 or 4 months later, I just get a DM out of nowhere, and he's like, hey man, you know, do you live in LA, man? Would love to try to grab lunch sometime. I'm like, wait, what? Like, oh shit. Like, let me, yeah, like let's do it. And basically we had lunch, and you know, around that time it was announced that he had signed a first look deal with Universal. And so I'm thinking, because Nine Rides had just come out, that he was looking at me as a filmmaker, and he was maybe trying to do like a horror movie with like iPhones or something.
Yeah.
Wanted to kind of see if I had any ideas, and so the first part of the meeting, I'm sure you've had 100 of these general meetings, you know, it's always awkward, and you're trying to feel it out. And I'm like telling him about myself and trying to like low key pitch some ideas, and then he just stops me halfway through. He's like, let me tell you what I got going on with Monkey Paw. He was like, you know, we got a lot of good buzz coming off of Get Out, and I have a lot of shows that I want to try to get sold and other projects that I want to do. And, you know, I don't know if you ever thought about it, but I think you'd make a good exec, and basically offer me a job to work there as an executive. And I'm like, what? Like, I called my reps after I got done with it. I'm like, I think I got offered a job, but it's not as a director, it's like as an executive. And a couple of them were like, you know, I don't know if you should do it because, you know, this is going to take away from your directing. And at the time I was like working at BuzzFeed doing a residency in virtual reality. And I was like, man, I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, it's the film industry. I'm gonna be able to get eyes on scripts and, you know, kind of still be working in the industry while still pursuing directing. You know, why not? And, you know, they were always really gracious and allowing me to direct. And, you know, I have carve outs in my contract to where, like, if a show came up or a movie or something, that they would, you know, I go away and do it and then kind of come back and keep it tight. And, you know, it's been a really good relationship, and I'm really grateful because they gave me my first opportunity to direct an episode of television, and obviously the Black Klansman situation, and Spike won the Oscar for adapted screenplay. So, you know, it's been an amazing ride for sure.
That's incredible, and that's an incredible story, and it just goes to show you how, you know, hard work and dedication really pays off. You know, I always say hard work brings you good luck.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
and that's even with social media, if you're active on social media. And, you know, when you're trying to do good things, you know, you're supporting people on social media, and there are a lot of people that have good hearts that actually recognize that. And you sometimes you're rewarded for it in ways that you didn't even expect, which is this kind of situation. So
nah, it's crazy. So Chris Rock donated to the Kickstarter, and he told me, he called me and he said he was going to donate, and he told me this story, and I know it was going to stick to me till the day I pass away. And he said, you know, he was like, back in the day, man, when I was young and broke, man, my car would break down all the time. And he was like, I'd be on the side of the road with my thumb out trying to, you know, have somebody pull over to help me, and they would never pull over and help me. And like, I just didn't know what was going on, but every time I would just say, forget it, let me push the car myself, people would always pull over and help me. And he was like, that's just, you know, kind of what you did with putting this Kickstarter out there. You know, you helped yourself, and you're kind of attracting more people to help you because you didn't sit there and ask for somebody to do something for you. You out here doing it yourself. And so that always was just stuck with me. And yeah, man, I think that's what we're all doing out here, you know?
Yeah, well, a lot of people respect the grind because they understand the grind, because to get to where they are, they had to grind too.
Right.
Grinders respect people that grind too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's with anything in life, not just in Hollywood. That's with anything. That's what I've found to be true. So you have a very, very impressive list of shows that you've directed. The Last OG.
Yep, with Tracy and Tiffany.
What was it like working with Tiffany Haddish and Tracy Morgan?
Extremely hilarious set. Tracy comes like, I don't know if y'all ever saw I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, when he had like his home band. It was like following him. He comes to set, his assistant has a boombox, like you hear him before you see him. Like he's always come to set blasting music. And then Tiffany, she's just hilarious and random, and you know, they always like pranking each other. So it was a really cool vibe.
I mean, that energy on this set has to be incredible.
Yeah, it was great.
Also, you worked on the Red Line, Ava DuVernay show, which and you guys go way back. That's our history, right?
Yeah, man. Me and Ava, man, we go back, God, to 2010. So back in like, oh God, how many years is that now? 9 years, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, 9 years ago. So I was, you know, I was hustling a lot, man. Like using my I saved PA money from doing shows or a commercial, and then I would use that money to produce a music video, like stuff like that, just to kind of keep you know, the skill set sharp. And it got to a point where I kind of was hustling my way out of like being able to pay rent. So I had to like move back home for a quick second, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I remember Ava's first film, I Will Follow, was at the Chicago International Film Festival. And I was like, man, I had never been to a festival before. I was like, man, I keep hearing about this woman. Let me check it out. And we got really cool. And, you know, I actually helped her with her social media game. And like, I remember the first day it hit theaters, like I was out there, we were trying to like tell people to get out of line to see one movie and come and see hers. So just to kind of see her go from that to like where she's doing now is just insane. Like definitely got that Emmy Award coming, and she's just an awesome person. And she gave me a shot as well, first opportunity doing a TV drama.
Well, obviously she's an incredible director, artist, visionary in Hollywood, you know, and fortunately for you, you know, you've been able to build these relationships with these people over the years, and you know, that's the same direction that you're headed in too, you know, clearly, you know. And I was fortunate enough to work on the film Nine Rides.
Shot with iPhones.
That was, yes, okay, so that process, how hard that was, and you know, what it took for you to get a whole feature film done with just iPhones.
I mean, it wasn't as hard as I think people think it is. You know, we didn't just shoot like a raw iPhone, like just, you know, right out the box. You know, we had lenses and a little bit of lighting and things like that. But, you know, we try to make it make sense for the story we're telling. You know, the Nine Rides was about an Uber driver. It all took place in a car over the course of one night. And so, you know, iPhones really made it make more sense. And, you know, I remember I was talking to Dorian about this. He said he felt like it was a little bit even more freeing because sometimes you even forgot a camera was there. Because, you know, normally when you're shooting, you got like 100 crew people hovering over the camera looking at you, and it's always like mad awkward. But with this, it was just like we rigged the camera, and then I was like laying down in the trunk.
Yeah, I remember you back there.
And sound mixer was right there next to me, and, you know, we would just do these like 10, 15 minute takes. And no, it was really freeing, man. You know, it was another situation where it's like, you know, I had been a couple years between doing projects, and I just really wanted to get back in the game, and had this little idea and, you know, a little bit of money, you know, through the homeboy Jerome, and we just made it happen. Shot it in 6 nights, and we ended up playing this all by. It's crazy.
That was crazy. Shout out Jerome Caldwell. He was one of the
dope.
producers. He was very, very creative. If you haven't seen Nine Rides, it's available. It's on probably on iTunes.
Yeah, it's on iTunes and Amazon and everything.
Amazon. Nine Rides. You should go check it out. It's a really, really incredible film. I was excited about that because, you know, I had a chance to work with Scott P. Marshall, who's an incredible actress.
Killing it.
And then Dorian Missick, and it was such a small world in Hollywood because I ended up working with Dorian on Luke Cage. Right after that, you know, so that film was incredible. I was really, really happy to be a part of it.
No, I'm glad you were
And it was so
man.
creative, the music that you chose, the soundtrack, and all the new artists that you put on. That's what I like about your style too, is that you're always looking for new people, new talent.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, that I think that's the biggest thing that you're creating with this platform with CastStar is that, you know, oftentimes like, yes, I'm not even gonna say it's easy, but, you know, with social media, it's easier now to, like, if you seen an actress in a movie that you really like, you know, you can almost just reach out and at Viola Davis and be like, hey, and she may reply to you. You never know. But, you know, I think the most rewarding thing though is when you're able to like get on a platform like this and you're going through all the reels and you're just like finding the best person, you know, and then you get them in the room and then they're still killing it, and then you get them with the actor that they're with, and they, you know, and then they're on set and they're doing it. So, you know, mad props to your platform, man, because like finding new artists is always a challenge, and you know, you really kind of democratizing this whole process.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, we just wanted to make sure that we're giving all the aspiring actors out there an opportunity, because, you know, there's a lot of people that have this dream. And,
Right.
and for me, it wasn't a dream of mine, you know, but it became a dream, and now I'm living it, you
Yep.
know, and it's such a good feeling to go from, you know, a situation where you had no idea that you were going to be doing something else, and then to be at a certain
Right.
level, and that feeling, I just want to pass it on to anyone else, and that's what we at Castor want to do, pass it on to everyone that's part of the platform. How much has being on social media been influential in your career?
It's changed my life, man. I mean, every so I mean, I don't know how long we got, but I'll tell a story of how I broke into directing. So, second year in LA in 2008, I was a PA on Heroes, the NBC show Heroes. Huge show, crazy production. Like, I mean, literally, we had 11 main cast. They all had their own 2-banger trailer. It was just like ridiculous waste of money. And so, I mean, to the point where like they would have camera equipment laying in the alleyway. I'd be picking up lights and stuff. Like they just forgot stuff. And I knew I wanted to like break it and directing music videos. And you know, I was studying, man. I remember growing up watching the box music television you control and MTV and everything, and you know, kind of peeping these names that would always come up on certain videos. And like I noticed that there were always two styles. Like you had your Hype Williams, you had your, you know, your Chris Robinson's cast that were really nice with the visuals, great lighting, but you know, the story wasn't always there. And then you had casts like F. Gary Gray, David Fincher, who their music videos look like short films. Like if you ever saw like Today Was a Good Day, or I Would Do Anything for Love, like that what's his name, Michael Bay did, you know, like they literally looks like a movie. So, you know, I knew I wanted to try to be more in that line, so that if I did a music video, I wanted to feel like a short film and cast actors, and it'd be that much easier to transition into narrative filmmaking. And so what I used MySpace. I'm dating myself. So MySpace was the hot social media network at the time. Because I had this background in radio in college, I knew that, you know, if you subscribed to Billboard magazine, you were able to see all the new songs that charted on Billboard. So I spent like a whole check. It was like $300-400. Subscribed to Billboard magazine again while I'm PAing. And then I just started looking at all the new songs. And then YouTube was fairly new at the time. So I would go to YouTube, and anytime a new artist song would track, I would go on YouTube and look up the song. And then I would like listen to it 100 times, transcribe the lyrics, and then I would get on MySpace and I would reach out to them, and I'd be like, my pitch was always this. I'm like, hey, my name is Matthew Cherry. I know you don't know me from a can of paint. I'm an aspiring music video director. I'm working here at the show. And one thing I did too was I went to all the department heads. I was like, look, we shoot Mondays through Fridays, Saturdays, this equipment is just sitting here. A lot of times I'm picking up stuff that y'all left behind anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, would y'all be cool if I like borrow some equipment if I did a shoot on the weekend?
Yeah.
And they were all like, cool, but if you get caught, it's on you.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, bet, I'll take that risk. And so, you know, now knowing that I had access to equipment, I went on MySpace and I just like reached out to literally, I wrote like 100 and like almost 20 treatments in the course of a whole shooting year, you know, of a season. And, you know, like people would, and that was before verified accounts and all that. So it could have been some crazy stranger that created the account or whatever. But, you know, every day I would just do 2 or 3 treatments every day during lunch. And eventually 1 or 2 artists reached back, and you know, we that's how I broke in, you know, through MySpace. So yeah, social has always been a big part of just, you know, helping to hustle up and get jobs, and kind of it's amazing because it connects you directly to your audience and, you know, other peers and talent. You know what I mean? Like when you think about what like Spike Lee and Robert Townsend and these cats had to do back in the day, where they're editing on film and they had to like rent a whole editing facility just to edit. Now we can edit right on the phone or on an iPad or a laptop.
Exactly.
Like it's so much easier now. And I just, when you think of what our peers have had to do that came before us and what we have access to now, it's just like there's no excuse, not to be out here doing stuff.
Yeah, because on social media, you literally can change your life, even if it's
Right.
creating your own content or
Yep.
reaching out to certain people. And even with Castor, you know, that was one of the inspirations for us. It's kind of the, you know, not necessarily cut out the middleman, but sometimes, you know, the middleman may get in the way from the people actually getting done what they need to get done.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. And even on me on social media, you know, I've learned to use it as a tool. When I first got on social media in like 2012. When I played in the NFL, I wasn't on Twitter or anything because I didn't want to see the comments.
Right.
You know, if I have a bad game,
Right.
I already knew my Twitter feed, Instagram was lit. So I didn't want to see that. You know.
Right.
So after I retired is when I first got on social media, and even then I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And over the last couple of years, I've definitely figured out how to strategically post and how influential it's been. So
No, it's a tool, man. I mean, and my thing is like people don't want to just see you getting on social just to promote. You know, like they don't hear from you for a year. Now you got a new project dropping. Now you just blowing up the timeline. Like, you know, in my experience, like people want to get to know who you are. Like, you know, what are your opinions on life? You know, Trump getting elected really is what made me step my social media game up to the extreme because it was one of those moments where it was like, all right, now where do you stand? And if you're not saying nothing, you're complicit. And I was always so afraid to just like, I don't want to be divisive and say stuff that I think, you know, I'm going to get trolls like getting at me or whatever. But you know, something like that happens, you just like forget it. Like, what else do we have to lose?
well, that's what the block button's for.
Right, exactly. and you know, don't read the comments too. You know, you got to learn how to ignore that stuff too sometimes.
Yeah, it's become a huge part of our life. So, you know, you have to deal with it.
Right.
Okay, so who do you aspire to work with one day as a director? What actors or what actor do you aspire to work with?
I mean, to be honest, man, I want to work with as many people as possible. You know, I've been really lucky to work with talented people such as yourself, Nicole Bahari, you know, Scott Foley, you know, Emiyazi Cornaldi. I mean, it's been I've been really blessed to have been able to direct some really amazing people and artists too, you know, doing a video for Beyonce.
Yeah, remember that.
Bilal and Common and people like this. So, you know, I'm always just looking forward to the next challenge. I'm doing this CBS series called Unicorn next month with Walter Goggins. So I'm really looking forward to working with him. I'm doing Blackish in December. So it's kind of this reunion where I was a set PA on Girlfriends 11 years ago. Now I'm going to come back and direct Tracy, you know, 12 years ago. So it's just crazy how it comes full circle.
That's so dope, man. Okay, so we've got a couple random questions.
Okay.
Ready?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sure?
All right. As long as
Okay.
it's not too crazy.
Okay. Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Yo, I got weird movie taste, man. Like I'm not like that typical filmmaker that's
No,
like,
there's
oh,
no-
this
there's
obscure
no-
French film.
On the Caster Couch, there's no wrong answer.
My favorite movie is I have two.
Okay.
Have Plenty, which is random, I know. I just really respected his indie hustle back in the day.
Yes,
so
one of
Have
the best
Plenty-
soundtracks ever.
Yes. So Have Plenty was always a fave, and then Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Oh God. Okay.
That was
No.
my joint back in the day.
Well, you know, you have to have two because I'm the same way. There's
Okay.
not just one.
Right.
You know, because I have my mainstream film
Yep.
and I have my indie film.
Right.
That's like, so I get it. Last TV show that you binged?
Ah man, last TV show that I binged. Oh, the one on Amazon, The Boys, the Seth Rogen joint.
I gotta check that
It's
show out.
pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
I think I had an audition for that show that I didn't get. I think it's
Probably
one of the
the one
characters
that
named
Laz-
Mother's Milk on
Yep,
there.
yep, Laz. Yep, Laz Alonso
Yeah,
got
I
it.
I was shooting Hawaii 5-0 and I auditioned while I was in Hawaii for that and I didn't hear anything back. So
Yeah,
you know,
I
usually
mean-
when you don't book something, you kind of forget about
Right,
it.
right,
You
right.
know it's on TV.
Right.
I got to check it out now because you said it's good.
No,
so-
it's really good. I mean, you might wince when you see that character come up, but
Oh, yeah.
it's worth watching.
Now I definitely got to watch it. Okay, I know you're a big music lover.
Yeah,
90s hip-hop.
Beyonce. I'm sorry. Hey, you can never go wrong. I'm sorry. I was trying to get ahead of it.
Okay, 90s hip hop or 2000s?
90s. Come on.
Ooh, okay.
What? This is not even a question.
Yes.
That's not even. That was the easiest question of all time, right?
Okay, favorite food?
Man, you know, from Chicago, man, I got to go with that Harold's, man. That extra mile, the
Ooh.
6-piece wing.
Ooh.
Yep.
Chi-Town, Bear Down.
Yep. There you go.
Bear Down, Chicago Bears. Okay, finally, what is some advice that you would give someone that's trying to follow in your footsteps, following your path in Hollywood?
You know, I think every job in Hollywood, for the most part, you can like follow people's blueprints, and you'll pretty much have to encounter a lot of the same things. Like, all right, get an X amount of days, get in a union, network. Now you in there. Like, directing is it's like you talk to 100 directors, you're gonna hear 100 different stories of how they broke in. Some through DGA, some did like one feature and it blew up. You know, I just think you got to trust the process. don't think that you have to reach out to people that are so high above your level. Like, think you have to get on Twitter and at Ava DuVernay and Barry Jenkins and have them be the one that put you on. Like, oftentimes what happens is the people that you start off with, you see in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you all start growing together. So now you're making your way up the industry. Now you're directing. Now one of your best friends is now as an executive. Now another one is an actor who booked a regular job on the show. And so, don't be afraid to kind of work within your group and, do what you got to do. Plays, web series, whatever. Like, it's all work. And the thing I think that I regret the most about working in Hollywood as compared to being an athlete is, like, if you wanted to just get on the treadmill and work or, go and catch some passes, you could do that all day. Like, directing and, this acting thing, like, it takes literally, hundreds of people to kind of put together a production so that you can work in this main way. So you just got to get as many reps in as you can as a creative because, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming
Thanks for having
join
me,
us on
man.
the Castor Couch, man. I have so much respect for you.
Appreciate it,
because
man.
you've been doing this for a long, long time, and you're actually one of the first people I met when I came to Hollywood.
Yep.
And because of your work ethic, your dedication, and your drive, you kind of opened doors for me, because you came here, you were in Hollywood before I was, and I know when I met you. And I found out you played football, and I saw how much respect that all these other artists have for you. It just really inspired me, and I appreciate being a part of your film. And congratulations on everything you're doing, man. Hair Love and all the directing. I mean, bro, it's really amazing, man, to see what you're doing, man. I can't wait to see what you do next.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Hair Love is in theaters now, man. Check it out if y'all can, and hopefully we see y'all at the Oscars, man.
Yes,
Best animated
sir.
short category.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to get
Yes,
there.
sir. We put it out there.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
No worries.
So that was another episode of the Castor Couch. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our page. For the hottest talent in LA, download Castor. To find the hottest gigs in LA, download Castor, and we'll see you next time here at the Castor Couch.